5 quantum cheat codes that will let you manifest your dream reality fast, right? So who am I to talk about this? Well, I have manifested the money I wanted. I have manifested the love I wanted. Now she's my fiance. I have manifested free travel. Like I have been to, I think, 5 countries at this point, and I have manifested weight loss, appearance change. I have reduced 30 to 40 pounds in the span of 4 to 5 months, right? So I have done it all. I have seen it all, and these 5 cheat codes help me do all those, right? So let's just get right into the video. So let's talk about the first cheat code I want you to understand and realize, right? So your imagination is your true self. Your imagination is your true self. What do I mean by that? Your 3D reality is nothing but an illusion, right? Your physical plane is nothing but a reflection of your imagination, right? You can never not live in your imagination, which means you always live in your imagination, right? You always live in your imagination. And most of the time, you live in your imagination unconsciously. It's an unconscious process, right? And your self always, and I mean always, gets expressed. What do I mean by self always get expressed? So you are manifesting every minute, every second, every day of your life. You are manifesting your current circumstances. And that is what I mean by yourself always gets expressed. It gets expressed into physical form in this physical reality, right? So whatever you hold in your imagination, that is what will get expressed into physical form, right? Like not everything that you put in your imagination is going to get expressed. The more you stay with one imagination, the more you stay with the same imaginal act or similar imaginal acts, that will get expressed into physical reality, right? So your imagination is your only true self. It is the only real reality. So what this means is you can totally avoid you can totally avoid taking this 3D reality seriously. Whatever unexpected bills may show up, like you might be going through a hard time, whatever it may be, it is totally changeable and it starts with your imagination. Most people, when they visualize, when they imagine a scenario where they already have that desire, the intention they keep before they visualize is I want to manifest so and so. So because of so to do that, let me visualize, let me imagine, right? So let me expand on this. So when I say that, for example, let's say I want you now. So now I want you to imagine an elephant and imagine yourself riding on that elephant. And once you've done that, you can come back to this video. Now, when you imagine yourself riding on an elephant, do you think it is just imagination, right? Do you think what you did just now is just imagination? If you think like that, then that means you don't think manifestation is real. You don't think imagination is real. You don't think that imagination is the only true source of your current reality, right? So people have this misconception that imagination is just some woo woo stuff and it is not real, right? And whatever you imagine is doesn't, it's not going to matter, right? And people have this belief, this misconception inside themselves. So whenever they imagine of already having that desire mentally, they think it is just an imagination, it is just visualization. When I said to you to imagine you riding on an elephant, that actually happened in the infinite intelligence field, in the quantum field. In transurfing, we call it the alternative space, right? Where everything already exists, every single potentiality, all potential, all possibilities already exist in the quantum field. And whenever you imagine anything, since everything's already created and it already exists in the quantum field, whatever you imagine, you just illuminate that part of the quantum field. You don't actually create anything, you just visualize or imagine a part of the quantum field which already exists outside this third dimensional reality, right? So whenever people say, I want to manifest, and because I want to manifest, I use imagination, you are starting off on the wrong foot, because you can't actually like imagination is not a tool. You live in imagination, you dwell in imagination, right? Like you can't be under the intention that, okay, I'm going to visualize so that I can manifest my dream reality. No, whenever you go inside your imagination, you live your current reality, you live the source of your current reality, right? Everything that you see in your physical life, it originated from the mental plane, it originated from your imagination, right? So any desire you have, any desire you have, first make the decision to have it, right? The universe doesn't care what you have, what you don't have physically, it only cares what you have vibrationally. So even though you don't have the desire, you don't own that desire in this third dimensional plane, you can still have it vibrationally, right? So any desire you have, you make a decision to have it, right? And once you make the decision to have it, once you go into imagination and you picture yourself, you imagine yourself already having that desire and living in a reality where you already own that desire, you're not actually trying to manifest, right? Whenever you go inside imagination, you're not trying to manifest, you're actually living your dream reality, right? Your imagination is the only true reality. Your physical plane, the physical reality that you see every day, it is nothing but a reflection of your imagination. So the more you dwell in that imagination, the more you dwell in that awareness, which I will discuss in upcoming parts of this video. But dwelling in that awareness, dwelling in that imagination, dwelling in those imaginal acts where you already have that desire, those will get expressed, right? Those because your new imagination becomes a part of self, and yourself always gets expressed, it always gets expressed. Yourself can't help but express itself onto the physical world, right? So more you dwell in those imagination, the more you dwell in imagination and have your desire mentally, and it is not you're trying to manifest, like you can just have fun in imagination. The first cheat code is realizing imagination is not just imagination. Imagination is the true real source, right? Imagination is the only, like, imagination is the cause of all manifestations of your current circumstances of your life, right? So don't go into imagination thinking, I want to manifest. You're not trying to manifest. You're not trying to change external reality, right? You're not trying to change external reality. All you're trying to do is change yourself, right? So don't try to manifest when you're going into imagination. Have fun with it. Imagination is fun, right? And once you engage with those imaginal acts where you already have your desire, a state pops up, emotions pop up, and you carry that state throughout the day, throughout your day, and you do it consistently. And once you dwell in that state, once you dwell in those imaginal scenes, those get reflected back into physical reality, right? So never ever think visualization, imagination is just you doing something, trying to manifest to change external circumstances. That will not work, because you're starting off on the wrong foot, right? Like whenever you imagine something, you are under the assumption that it is just imagination, it is not real, in fact it is very real, right? So whenever you imagine, the first cheat code is assume, like if you even if you can't realize this fact, assume that it is real. You're actually living your dream reality in your imagination, that is real, right? Don't just think it like it is just imagination and I'm just doing this woo woo stuff to manifest my dream reality in third dimensional plane. You can't like bring changes to third dimensional plane if you can't bring changes within yourself, right? I hope i i hope you understand. Now the second cheat code is your imagination draws its essence from your subconscious mind but is directed through your conscious mind. What do I mean by that? So, for you to imagine and bring changes to yourself so that you can bring changes to external reality, you need to imprint the ideas into your subconscious mind and you imprint it consciously, right? So, what matters here is we need to take advantage of two important points of the day, right? So, every day there are two instances, two inevitable, and you do daily, right? So, there are two instances, or you can even um, increase the number of instances where you dwell in the state that I'm going to talk about. But in the moments, like the moment before you fall asleep, and the moment you wake up from sleep, in both of these instances, you dwell, like you go into alpha or theta brainwave states, right? Alpha and theta brainwave states, like it corresponds to being relaxed, right? It is you being in a meditative state. And when you are in a meditative state, what happens is your conscious mind, like it lowers its defenses, right? It doesn't bring logic into whatever ideas you are trying to imprint on the subconscious mind. So we need to take advantage of it. So whatever practice that you do, first of all, it needs to invoke some sort of feeling or emotion. You can do affirmations, you can do scripting, you can do visualization, whatever technique you want to use, you can use it. There's no strict rules or routine I want you to follow, but the only rule I want you to follow is it must invoke some sort of feeling or emotion from you, right? Like how would you feel if you already had your desire right now? Write down those emotions, and I want you to feel those emotions or feelings. Like it doesn't need to be euphoria, it doesn't need to be like radical excitement. It can just be a sense of calmness and sense of peacefulness, right? So, and once you have decided what practice or what technique you want to use, you can use it, and you must use it on the moments before you fall asleep and the moments you wake up. And you do both of these every day, hopefully, right? You fall asleep every day and you wake up every day. So why not take advantage of those precious times where you are dwelling in alpha or theta brainwave states? And whenever you meditate, if you meditate for like 30 minutes or 45 minutes, you naturally calm down your brainwave states. Like naturally you're operating in beta brainwave state, but when you meditate, you gradually reduce down to you gradually reduce down to alpha, and then you go to theta. Delta is just pure sleep, pure deep sleep. We don't want to fall asleep, right? Like if you completely fall asleep, then it becomes difficult for your subconscious mind to get imprinted, right? So alpha and theta is what we are targeting for, and you can easily do it by meditation. Or even if you don't have a habit of meditating, you can still take advantage of two instances every day: the moment you fall asleep and the moment you wake up, right? So whatever practice you do, you keep doing it, but you also do it two times more, right? Like Neville Goddard talked about this. He talked about SATS, state akin to sleep, right? It is taking advantage of the state you are in, the meditative state you are in before you fall asleep. right? So it makes sure, even if you don't do anything throughout the day, make sure you take advantage of these two moments every day. And that is the chicken and that is the second cheat code that I want you to follow, that you can follow to manifest your dream reality fast. And now the third cheat code is awareness and imagination go hand in hand. What do I mean by that? So let's say you want a car and you buy a car, you own a car. Or let's say you wanted love all your life and you just attracted your specific partner, specific person, right? For the first few weeks, you might feel happy about it, you might feel joyful about it. But after that, you don't necessarily think about them all the time. Even though you might feel grateful about it, even though like you might feel happy about it at certain times, you don't obsessively think about them, or you don't do any techniques or practices because you already have them, right? But you still have this underlying awareness that you own that car or you already have that person in your life, right? So sometimes, some days we don't like to imagine or visualize, right? Like we can't be in the mood of visualizing, and we can't force ourselves to imagine or visualize because the subconscious mind doesn't like force, it doesn't like strain, it doesn't like tension, right? So in moments like that, or even like every day, why not you be under the awareness that you already have that desire? Because you doing like 15 minutes of visualization isn't going to change your life, it's not going to manifest a dream reality. What matters is the state of being you are dwelling in throughout the day, right? And you dwell in your dream reality through awareness, right? Like you need to be aware throughout the day. Like let's say you own a car, you are aware subconsciously or consciously that you own a car. Whenever you think of the car, you think like you own it, you already have it. So I'm not saying that you need to totally be aware of your dream reality, you need to imagine 24 hours a day. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm trying to say is, whenever you think of your desire, think from the desire, think of the desire like you already own it, like you already have it, right? So let's take a money example. Let's say you want to make like $10,000 per month, and I like taking that example, right? Whenever you think of making money, you think like, oh, I'm already making $10,000 per month, right? And you feel that sense of ownership, that sense of having a desire, right? Like emotions are not feelings. Let me tell you, emotions are not feelings. All emotions are feelings, but not all feelings are emotions, right? Like even though you might not feel any emotions, you might still feel like you already have it, right? And that is the awareness I want you to dwell in, right? Like if you can't understand what I'm talking about, think about all the things you've already manifested in your life, think about all the things you already own in your life. And whenever you think about the particular thing that you already own, you think from that object, right? You think from that whatever thing you are thinking about, right? Like let's say you're already making $10,000 a month, right? You're already making $10,000 a month, and you don't do any technique, you don't do any imagination to make $10,000 a month because you're already making $10,000 a month per month in physical reality. So whenever you think about like making 10K per month, you think like I'm already making it, right? Every day you're living under the awareness you're already making 10K per month, right? So instead of let's finalize this point. So you have a desire, right? And whenever you think of your desire throughout the day, instead of thinking it still hasn't manifested, or you may think I need to do more affirmations to manifest it, right? So whenever you think of a desire, instead of thinking it still hasn't manifested, or like I need to do more affirmations, I need to do more visualizations to manifest my dream reality, that implies you don't have a desire, right? So whenever you think of a desire, if you don't think about the desire, then it's actually great, because you have done a practice, you have done your imagination practice or affirmation practice, like whatever practice you do, and you just let go of it and you just go through your day. That's great. Like, it's not great when you're having opposing emotions, opposing frequency, and that is a topic for another video. But if you can consciously do a meditation practice and visualize like you already have your desire, and you surrender to God, you let go of the neediness, of the wantingness, and you think you already have it and operate from that viewpoint, operate from that state, then that's great, right? And that is you being under the awareness that you already have it. So instead of thinking like this, whenever you think of a desire, think, thank you. Think, I already have it. Think, isn't it wonderful that I already have it? Or you can think, it's done, right? Whatever line of thinking implies that you already have your desire. That is the only line of thinking I want you to have. That is you being in the awareness that you already have your desire, right? So even though you don't want to visualize, like if you don't want to visualize or you don't want to imagine, and you don't want to like imagine you already having a desire, like there are some people like that, and I don't know why, because imagination is fun. But if you're a person who doesn't like imagination, who doesn't like visualization, you can still just use awareness to manifest your desires, right? So you just take a decision that you already have your desire, and you operate from that viewpoint. You operate like you do the works, you do your chores, you live your life like you already own that desire, right? And you only operate like whenever you think about the desire, you would never think, oh my god, it hasn't happened yet, oh my god, it is not, like it hasn't come into physical reality. You just think it is done, I already have it, I am rich, I am wealthy, I am healthy, right? So the best way to do this is just to take one line of affirmation. So let's say you want to make $10,000 a month. Whenever you think of your desire, you just take that one affirmation and you repeat it in your mind, and you feel it in its essence. You feel that ownership. You feel of you, like you feel that you already have your desire. So whenever you think about your goal of making $10,000 per month, you think like, I'm already making 10K per month. It is already done. It's done, right? You can just take the simple phrase of it's done and you repeat it whenever you think of your desire, right? And now it's time for the fourth cheat code, which is gratitude and thankfulness, right? Now since we are utilizing awareness, now since we are utilizing our awareness and our imagination to live in our desired reality mentally, we need to give thanks to God or universe or quantum field or whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to call the divine force. We want to thank it, even though your desire may not be present in your 3D reality, in your physical reality. You can still thank it because you already have it, and it is coming your way in the physical plane, right? So the fourth cheat code is practice gratitude for the desires that you have. And what do I mean by have? You having it mentally and vibrationally. Even though you don't you don't possess it physically. The simple act of saying thanks and the simple act of you feeling grateful for the desires that hasn't even appeared into physical plane fastens the manifestation process, because this implies that you already have your desires. This indicates to the universe that you already have your desires and you're feeling grateful for it. I already made several videos on talking about the power of gratitude, right? You just going on a rampage of like feeling grateful about all the things you own in your life, and also feeling grateful for the things that are yet to come into your life. you fasten up the manifestation process if you just practice gratitude, and if you just say thanks and you stay in that thankful attitude throughout the day, right? Now that is the fourth cheat code, and now let's move on to the final cheat code of this video, and that is a game changer. So the fifth cheat code is do nothing for 1 hour a day. So here's how it goes. You sit in front of a wall and you stare at a wall for 1 hour. That is the practice, right? By doing this, you clear out all emotional baggage that you hold within. Most of the time, the emotional baggage we hold within, these are the emotions and thoughts that we have suppressed, that we have not processed. So all of these unprocessed emotions and thoughts will pop up, and it can be uncomfortable, but it's very much important that you show no resistance and you feel those emotions completely. This is not a manifestation session, right? This is not something that you do to manifest your desires. This is something you do to clear out all the baggage that you hold within, which is messing up your manifestation practices, right? By simply doing this, even from a psychological standpoint and from a metaphysical standpoint, you have so much to gain, right? You process all the emotions that you have been suppressing for all your life, and each of the emotions will pop up, and you just feel it and you let go of it, and you calm down your mind. This is very much helpful for literally everyone, but it is specifically helpful for people who do overthink. For people who overthink, their mind faculty is so full, and because of that, it results in overthinking. And if you start overthinking, you can't stay in the same frequency, you can't stay in the same state of consciousness, right? You start doing some impulsive things, like you keep changing your manifestation practice, you are not being consistent, you keep changing things up, like it's a mess, because I have been there, I have done that, right? So it is very much essential that you sit in silence, right? Because when you do nothing for 1 hour, you are practicing stillness. Be still and know that I am God. Bible says this, right? So to know your true God self, to practice stillness and to practice emotional processing, doing nothing is critical in your manifestation practice. Just doing this will significantly increase the power when you imagine or when you affirm or when you script, because you can be aware throughout the day. Like I talked about, like one of the cheat codes is you being aware throughout the day, you feeling, you are being aware of that feeling of ownership of your desire. And you can only do that if your mind isn't wandering off to somewhere else, right? So for you to be aware, to practice awareness throughout the day and be under the, like to dwell in the ownership of your desires, you already own your desires, to have the feeling throughout the day that you already own your desires, you need to practice stillness. Because if you have those emotional baggage, if you have unprocessed thoughts and emotions, they will mess up your awareness, right? So it's very much important, it's very much critical that you practice doing nothing for 1 hour a day. Like even if you can't sit for 1 hour a day, start with 30 minutes and expand upon it, and you do it consistently, right? So yeah, that's it from me. If you want to work with me personally, then check out the link in description, where you can get, like you can talk to me for free and we'll discuss your problems and I can help you manifest your dream reality. Right? So that's it from me. I will see you in another video.